All right. Hi, Deep.
Hey, Rajpreet.
So lovely to have you with us today on the Sechi's platform, and we've just gone live. And so, thank you so much for really taking out the time. Happy to introduce you very quickly before we dive on to the topic.
Sure.
So for the audience who's listening us live, Debadutta Upadhyaya is the founder of BCCL, a startup consulting firm focusing on India entry strategy and digital transformation solutions. Debadutta Upadhyaya, Deb, as she is known commonly, was the founder, CEO of Timesaverz, India's first online home services company that she founded in the year 2013. Prior to that, she held leadership positions in companies like the Times of India, Yahoo India, and Vidopia Incorporation, now called Chocolate Inc., a gold medalist in English literature and mass communication, and a PLAM certificate holder from IIM Calcutta. Her forte lies in building things from scratch and evolve them into category leaders. A proud recipient of India Achievers Award in 2018, Access Burgundy Achiever Award in 2015, Indira Super Achiever Award in 2011, and Yahoo Ratna Award in 2006 for stellar sales achievement and contribution to the Indian startup ecosystem. Wow. Her thoughts around best practices in sales and marketing for startups forms a part of the Upgrad Startup India lecture series. Urban gardening is one of her pet hobbies, and food and travel are passions that her family of three based out of Mumbai bond over. So lovely to read about all your accomplishments, Debadutta. And I'm sure, that speaks for itself about the topic today, which is leaning on to learn. So we welcome you once again, Debadutta, and would love to hear about you on how really did you lean on to learning and navigate that through your career.
So Rajpreet, as you read through, right, mine has been a varied journey in terms of what I started with and what I'm doing currently. So a humanities student who graduated in journalism but ended up in the media sales of the business, then moving on to from print to the new age media. So basically I'm a digital immigrant. So in those two processes, if I were to look into it, these were not a natural extension of what I studied or what I did, right? Either in terms of from studies to job or from one industry to the other industry. So I would actually give a lot of credit to the mentors that I got along the way, whether it was when I switched over from journalism to sales, or whether I switched on from the traditional media to the new age media, the mentors helped me along. Then came the entrepreneurship journey, right? So an entrepreneurship journey is something that you have to be jack of all trades, whether you become a master or not sure, but you need to be a jack of all trades. So you had to depend on us ecosystem of advisors from different fields. And when you interacted with them, you learned a lot, things that you would have otherwise maybe not learned in your career. In fact, I had written something about it 3 years back, saying that, like if you are an entrepreneur, you need to be a generalist more than a specialist. Because you can always have specialized team members to help you guide through the vision and mission, but you need to know a little bit of everything. So as an entrepreneur, the advisor set came into the existence, and then I moved on to consultancy. As they say, like you are as good as your last job. In today's context, I would say that you are as good as the latest skill. And if you have to be up to date with the skills, then you need to be absolutely sure that you are learning all around, learning from everything that you see around, everything that you pick around, everything that you grasp from around your circumstances. And that's the reason the learning has been, I would say, more experiential then bookish. But I would say that, like I devote nonfiction biographies, for the simple reason that biographies actually give you a lot of sense in terms of what to do and what not to do, and life lessons that you may not have to rediscover yourself. So that has been the learning journey for me per se. It is more experiential. Content is available everywhere, anything that the life circumstances and what you make out of it.
Sure, absolutely, Debadutta. And I think being a founder myself, I could relate to a lot what you were saying, because you do need to know a lot of everything. You are the CTO, you are the CMO, you are the accountant, you are the legal person, you're the finance person. You have to know right from tech to marketing to sales to design. All of it you need to know.
Yeah.
So, and it's really an ocean out there, and
Rajpreet, are we facing some issues technically? Because I'm not able to hear you.
Already, mentioned about being a generalist, which must go. Okay, sorry about that. Is it better?
Yeah, it is better now. Some kind of a jinx
now.
Yeah.
Happens, it's okay.
Yeah.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it is better. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. So, Debadutta, there's always a dilemma, between going deeper and deeper to having that specialization versus, having that breadth of experience. While for an entrepreneur, it may be quite relevant. But overall, what are your thoughts further onto this, when you have to make those decisions?
So it depends on what you're doing and what you set out to do, Rajpreet. As I said, you need the specialists because the companies don't run just because of generalists. The head of the organization or the founder may have to go through that path because of the requirements that job entails. But you need to have specialist team members to aid you through that process because somebody needs to be master of everything, right? And that cannot be one person. So as I said, it all depends on what you are set out to do. If you want to learn and grow in a particular vertical direction, then specialty is something that you should look at. But if you are looking at a general management role, then you need to get into the generalist role. In fact, I was reading about an article that HBS came about 2 years back, where they exactly said the same thing. There's nothing. This is nothing versus, it is not generalist versus specialist, but in terms of role responsibilities that you need to look into this particular context.
Sure. Thanks. Very well put. And, when it comes to learning, there's just so much of content that is really available out there. So I think for me also, it's like I feel if I have an hour, should I take this? I should learn this also and this also. And there's this whole, ocean out there. So how really did you pick up, some of those areas amongst this information available out there?
So Rajpreet, as I said, my biggest lessons have been from experiences. No doubt about that. What I saw around, what I picked around from that and what I made of it has summed up a lot of learnings that I have done. Having said that, as we have stepped into a digital world, right? Today, everything is about digital, everything is democratized. So there's an ocean of learning available for you, especially after pandemic. Look into the kind of online classes, the master classes that have come across. If you have an interest in any kind of a subject, you just need to enroll yourself in one of those master classes and you have them. Plus community platform like yours, for example, right, where you have experts, you have angels, you have subject matter people, you have coaches coming across. So again, networking in these kind of community platforms also helps a lot. So it has been a varied experience, while the focus or the weightage has been more in terms of experiential learning. The pickup has been from all sorts of things, from books, hardbound books, to digital platforms, to community sessions and networking. It has been all around.
So, there's this very interesting, idea around unlearning also,
Yeah.
that is a lot talked about, where on one side you have the experiences and the experiential learning and the life lessons that you have, and you don't want to learn it the harder way. You can pick up from experiences of others, which is also what our platforms and the likes would provide, but fresh perspective, and unlearn and then just make it a fresh canvas. So what are your thoughts on that?
Unlearning is a necessity today. It's not good to do, it's a necessity today. So if I were to go back to my experience, Rajpreet, like moving from print to the digital media made me unlearn a lot of things. Right from the jargons to the way that you need to actually onboard your clients, there was a whole lot of unlearning involved. And then moving from what are considered as the top media organizations, whether it was Yahoo or Times of India, to an entrepreneur role, where, you start with nothing from the scratch. That itself also meant a lot of unlearning. And until and unless you unlearn and adapt yourself to what are the situations around, I think it's difficult to swim through and stay afloat nowadays, if I have to look into it. So look into the kind of things that are happening, right? Whether you call it lifelong learning, whether you call continuous learning, that is becoming a mainstay nowadays. Like there are a lot of options, like to upskill, reskill people. It's not just about skilling, but it's all about reskilling and upskilling people. And to that extent, I would say that that's a part of the unlearning process, where you need to let go of some of the baggages that you carry, or some of the legacy that you carry, and then try to learn a new chapter and a grammar altogether. Very, very necessary if you have to be relevant.
Sure. I think a lot is also being talked about the neural pathways being rewired with the unlearning that happens, and then the learning. So Debadutta, would you like to share with us some top 2-3 learnings, that you had, which others could benefit from?
Okay. So let me start from the first, where I moved from. I studied to be a journalist and ended up on the sales side of media, right? So the learning out there was that, like there can be a fine balance between what you call as the editorial team and the sales team. Normally people see them as loggerheads, but a fine balance can be actually sought to service the client in the longer term. That was the learning that definitely happened as I moved from from the study path to the career path. The other learning that came across was in terms of entrepreneurship. That was a completely different learning altogether. Like there's nothing that can match any kind of a learning that you had till that particular point in time. So that learning involved actually knowing about things that you would have never imagined you would get into. And you need to do that. So from that part of it, the learning has been that nothing is impossible if you actually get into it and get into doing it. So that was definitely the learning that I got. The third, and I would say for most of us entrepreneurs, and especially women, whether it is working women or entrepreneurs or whatever, the family ecosystem is what I learned is something that you need to always have to fall back upon. At times we tend to ignore that a lot. At times we don't make much about it. We take it for granted, but that has been a learning in terms of taking you through the path, whether the sunny days or the rainy days. I think that's an ecosystem that just helps you stay course. So that has definitely been another learning that I would say.
Lovely. And, as you mentioned, we do tend to take family for possibly granted, in this journey at times. So creating that safe space, that ecosystem, that support system around you, I think it's also been the foundation of SACHI's, if you ask me, to be able to have that support system for women where we back each other. And Debadutta, I would love to hear more about your entrepreneurship journey, any challenges that in particular that you would like to share that you faced, and if, as our parting words to, it's lovely to really entrepreneur and to, really for all entrepreneurs who will be listening out to you. So anything more that you would like to share with us?
As far as the entrepreneurship thing is concerned, I would say, it's a tough one, but be at it. Things may not always go in the intended direction that you want it to be, but the beauty is to stay put. Things will turn around. In case the vision is something that you have a clear thought about, and you have missionaries with you to just tag along, then that is something that you just need to put across. There would be definitely low days, but just be at it. And I would say that, never ever, especially for the entrepreneurs, this is something that's very important. Be comfortable with saying that I don't know, I need help, and can you help me? That is something that comes really handy in the entrepreneurship journey. Because when you are set out to do something as a single human being, you are not in charge of everything that happens around you, around the process, but having people who you can reach out to help you around would make a whole lot of a difference. I think that's something that I would leave as a thought for the entrepreneurs.
Thanks so much. And I could completely, relate to what you were saying. And I mean, for me, it's been the why that keeps me going, if you ask me. Having started up. So it's a plunge and it's an uncharted territory. And I think, we just need to stay put. I'll definitely connect with you, Debadutta, if I need more motivational talks.
No, you are doing an awesome job, Rajpreet. I actually went on to the speed networking event a couple of weeks back that happened on the platform, and wonderful. I could meet people, at least one person from the HR division in down Bangalore. I don't know if I should say her name because it's all about privacy nowadays, without her consent, whether I should or not. But wonderful meeting some people, like, that you're struggling with something and there's someone that, you can reach out to get help from. So
thank you so
keep up with the good work. It's awesome. More power to you and your team at SACHI's.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Debadutta. And in fact, today at 7 p.m. again, we are having a session with some women from CII. So
okay.
If you have time, do join in. You'll be able to meet some more people at 7 p.m. And it's really lovely that you are a part of SACHI's. You've come on the platform, you've experienced the platform. And thank you so much for all the lovely and kind words. And it's a long journey ahead. And we also have an entrepreneurs club on the app, which will be activating quite soon. So thank you. Thank you so much, Debadatta. Lovely to have you with us today.
Thanks, Rajpreet, and all the power to your team.
Thank you.
Thank you.